Hi, I'm Jen from Tea Leaves and Tweed, and welcome to another morning tea session. This morning, I've decided to try something that I might not like. So if you followed this channel in the past, you may have seen my previous video, 2 Lapsangs, in which I tried 2 Lapsang Souchong teas. One that is smoked, which is what the Western world traditionally thinks of as Lapsang Souchong, and one that was unsmoked. And in it, I talk about how I really don't like smoked teas. And in fact, it's pretty obvious that I don't enjoy the smoked Lapsang that I tried. So it's a bit of a blustery day, so hopefully the sound won't be too bad. But I've decided to come out to my garden in the sunrise, since the rain that we've had the last couple of days has cleared up, and try a tea that was sent to me by Phil at the Old Ways Tea Company, which is where I get my yancha. And this is a smoked black tea from Wuyishan, which is where all their teas are from. And since I've liked every tea I've tried from them, I thought I would give their smoked tea a chance and see what I think. So let's brew. So for my brewing setup, I'm brewing in my 4-ounce gawan, which I have filled with a little hot water to warm it up, and then I'm just going to pour it into one of my vintage style teacups. I have my flask of hot water because I'm outside without electricity, and these little teas are so convenient because their little black teas are actually packaged in 5-gram packets. So I don't have to weigh anything because this is a single session for me. So I'm just going to discard my warming water. And then I have decided to steal one of my embroidery snips to use to open little tea packets these days. So I can put the leaves in and let those warm up for a bit. Now typically I like to smell my warm dry leaf before I brew. Oh, that is an interesting, it's very lightly smoked. It's not super barbecuey like the Lapsang I tried in my last video. That's really interesting. So I'm going to pour out the warming water in my teacup and let's give this a brew. So on the back of the little packet, some of these have brewing suggestions, but this one doesn't seem to. So I'll just give that a couple of seconds to steep. It's got a light smoky scent on the gawan lid. Interesting. It has a little of that campfire scent, but I really have to stick my nose in it. So I don't remember if you remember from the previous video, I actually sealed the leaves for the smoked Lapsang in a jar so that it wouldn't interfere with the scent of other things in that session. And this is a much more delicate smoked scent. So I'm really curious. Light smoky aroma, little piney. Oh, that's really interesting. Most of the smoke is on the aroma, but it just gives it this little savory quality almost. Definitely feels like enjoying a cup of tea in front of a fireplace, as opposed to being down on the beach at a bonfire where the smell of smoke just gets into everything. I'm actually enjoying this, which sounds like faint praise, I know, but I really recommend, I'll link it below, go back and watch the other video. I make the face of regret when I first try the smoked Lapsang. So this is not technically a Lapsang I, I don't think. It's just a smoked black tea from Wuyi. I don't think they call it Lapsang. Oh, I'm so glad that Phil included this. He's given me a couple of samples in my last order. He usually includes a couple of samples, but he included a couple more than usual this last time of just things I think he wanted me to try. And they're things that I might not have bought for myself, like different styles of teas that I've tried in the past, or a scented tea that I wouldn't have tried, and of course a smoked tea, because I would never buy smoked tea unless it was for a video. Oh, I'm really curious how this changes over a session, so I think I need to take this for a second steeping. Yeah, the cup aroma is just kind of like the dying embers of a campfire. And of course, it's a little chilly out today, which is why I've decided to stay in the sun, even though the sun has already risen above the neighbor's house and is in my eyes a little. But I think it's worth it for the little bit of extra warmth versus being in the shade. So I've been spending a little bit more time educating myself by talking with other tea experts, or talking to tea experts, I should say, because as I've said, I'm not a tea expert. And one of the things going to Valley Brook Tea in DuPont Circle downtown is I got some advice on holding my gawon lid with a straighter finger rather than curving my finger up like this. And it's just a little bit easier on the wrist, I find. So, have our second steeping. Oh, definitely getting a little bit more of the black tea through. It's just a stronger scent overall, but you can smell that like juicy Chinese black tea scent underneath the smoke, which is something that I didn't notice in the previous smoked Lapsang I tried. It was just all very smoke forward. So if you really love very smoky teas, this is probably not going to be your favorite. But one of the things in the pu'er class that I went to a couple weeks ago, there was one shengpu'er that had a bit of a pine smoke scent to it, and the teacher explained that it was probably because it was fired in a wok over a wood fire instead of an electric burner or whatever other kind of fuel they might use. So the smoke from the wood fire that was just used to heat the wok that they fired it in would get into the tea a little bit. So it was maybe not even intentional. It was a very, very light scent, and it just kind of made the tea, it just gave the tea this little extra layer of complexity. And I feel like this is a smoked tea where the smoke adds to the tea. The smoke doesn't feel like it's covering anything up. And in fact, Old Ways Tea Company has some very nice teas and some very nice black teas and some wonderful yancha. And most of their teas are not terribly expensive, but they don't feel or taste cheap. So I don't feel like this is a low quality tea that is being covered up by smoke. This is really nice. So hey, I found a smoked black tea that I like. Well, I think I'm going to enjoy the rest of my tea off camera. So this was the smoked black tea from Old Ways Tea Company. Just the first two steeps. Thank you for joining me for this sunrise tea session on this blustery day. I hope you'll join me again sometime. Bye.